Welcome back. We continue with our earnings analysis. Havells' Q4 results were a beat on, I think, almost all parameters. Revenue of Lloyd and of the cables business was way above expectation. Margins, I think, are a beat practically across all categories. To discuss the numbers further, we are joined by Anil Rai Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director at Havells India. Mr. Gupta, thank you very much for spending time for us. Do appreciate it. If you can start by telling us how's demand? I mean, what went so good for Lloyd's as well as for the cables business?
I think as far as cables business is concerned, we do see some uptick in demand, also because of the fact that the new capacity at Tumkur has already come up, and which augurs well for the underground cable business. The wires business continues to be strong, but there is a little bit of a concern on the volume growth. Value growth has been good. As far as Lloyd is concerned, it is coming out after a very strong summer last year. So there was anticipation of a very strong summer in this quarter as well. So I would say part of it is also not necessarily completely secondary sales, but also more primary sales. In fact, in the month of March, I would say that it could have been even better had the secondary sales come out much better. But we are seeing a delayed summer, and let's see how the first quarter pans out.
Well, in a way, we are thankful for the delayed summer, if it indeed is. But Mr. Gupta, just let me complete a digression. There is a lot of talk about this lower BIS standards for some categories of compressors. Is that going to make a big difference for you? Any positive difference for Havells?
I think we are well sorted as far as supply chain is concerned. And we do believe that for the next 1 or 2 years, 3 years, we are well sorted for our supply chain, especially for compressors.
Okay.
I think the government also sees that there will be a time required for the entire supply chain to get set up in India. And I think between the government and the companies, there is a good understanding of how they want to promote the manufacturing in India.
Okay. Well, let me come to the cables bit as well. You sounded very confident. Can you give us an idea, because you may have some idea of how demand is panning out? And then there is the big challenge, perhaps. Some giants are entering the cables business, the Birla Group, Adani Group. If you have to, look out further a year or two into the area, is this going to become a very tough business?
Well, I think, first of all, if we take out the noise of the quarter on quarter, because this depends a lot on the fluctuation in the raw material prices also. But structurally, we are very hopeful of the cables and wires business. One, the residential demand over a period of time will continue to grow. Secondly, the Capex cycle and the infrastructure cycle in India for the next few years will remain strong, and hence we are hopeful that the demand will be strong. Thirdly, what is happening is also the global markets are also opening up for cables and wires business, which augurs well for additional capacities to come up. I would say, you talked about the newer competition coming in. This industry is a very large part of the electrical industry, and I think it is still has fairly a good share of the unorganized and the non-branded sector. So newer brands, better quality brands, hopefully, should actually consolidate market shares from the unorganized sector. So overall, I think it might not be a bad thing for the industry.
Okay. No, it's just that the competition that's coming are people who have allied products. If you come with cement and with paints, you're somehow approaching the builder or the building industry in a consolidated fashion. Will that pose a challenge?
Well, I think, all companies have their own strengths, and this is also a very positive strength for Havells, that within the electrical sector, we have a composite product range for the consumer. I think, companies will have their own strengths, but also, the distribution channel will take its own time to develop. And I think that's something which is a sort of a moat which companies in the incumbents have already created, and will take its own time.
No, I take your point. Brand loyalty is a moat in its own right. But if you can both zoom in and zoom out and tell us about how demand was. Your electrical, for consumer durables, basically. Electrical consumer durables has grown 10%, but Lloyd's has grown 40%. More broadly, if you can tell us rural, urban, premium, not so premium, how is demand looking?
I think this was one quarter where we actually saw growth coming back in the rural and semi-urban sector as well. The urban had been doing better in the first half of the year. The rural was impacted. It's coming back. Maybe some impact of the budget changes as well as the RBI relaxations. Hopefully that should augur well for the coming times. I think if we see overall, there is a movement more towards the premium, and maybe that is also a strategy of the company. But that is there we see a movement more towards the premium products as well. You know, if you take fans, it is more towards energy saving products. If you take switchgear segment, it is more towards automation and electronics. So there is a movement towards premium segment overall. And, you know, it's not just in the metro towns. In fact, we see that movement in the rural areas as well as the semi-urban areas.
Okay, that's good. That will be good for margins, I assume. Speaking of margins, what we get from economists and those who are looking at all the tariff and such things is that there will be a disinflation in Asia, in commodities in particular. In the light of that, how are you seeing your margins? Are they likely to better this already decent performance this year?
Well, again, I think there is so much of fluctuation and there's so much of talk about, this whole thing, how things will pan out. I don't think anybody has a full view of this. And this is how, companies like us will have to just play as it comes along. And, a deflationary trend in terms of commodities is always beneficial. Again, as I said, if you take the noise out of the quarter, but at least for a longer period of time, it augurs well for both for the consumer as well as for the company.
Okay. Just to go back to your demand reply, you said that you're seeing rural come back, rural and semi-urban. How is urban? There were a lot of FMCG companies who were shocked by urban stagnation, but that was FMCG. How is it with you?
I think overall we are seeing a good traction in the urban segment as well. This also is reflective of the overall residential growth, residential construction growth, which is happening in India, which actually, because the prices of real estate have gone up so much, I'm just a little bit skeptical about the future. But at least right now, it is showing decent traction.
Okay. Well, just finally, you all swallowed Lloyd's quite some time back, and now it's throwing money for you. What will your next big project be?
I think there are too many projects within our various businesses, and we'll continue to invest. As you've seen last year, we've invested about 750 crores in the Capex. This year also, in the next couple of years, we're looking at another 2,000 crores overall, plus an investment of in the renewable space of 600 crores. So there is enough that we have to focus on for growth coming in various businesses. So I think, Lloyd itself is a growth engine for Havells, and those investments will continue in Lloyd as well.
Okay. So largely organic, you think? We shouldn't be expecting inorganic moves, is it?
We do believe that there is enough opportunity in organic to grow.
Okay. We'll leave it at that, Mr. Gupta. It was a pleasure speaking with you. All the very best for the year ahead, and thank you very much for spending time for us.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's Havells. It's a little bit in the red today, but just remember, over the last 2 weeks, that stock rose from less than 1,500 to almost 1,700 rupees. So perhaps a little bit of buy the rumor and sell the news is happening at this point in time. The market itself is perhaps giving back a little of its gains in the banking space again, where there was a lot of buying, but otherwise still holding up quite brightly in the green. Wrap up on Bazaar on that note. Chartbusters coming.